Hi all, good to see you again. So Steve, yeah, we'll definitely go over Bitcoin for you. I know it had a rough day. I guess we kind of expected it, but I know there was some bullish talk that we had about Bitcoin the other day as well. So we'll take a look at the bare minimum, the weekly, and then the daily or the monthly as well. We'll take a look at all of them. As a matter of fact, let's bring it up now. Yeah. So, okay. So, God damn it. My Mac wasn't on. Sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, obviously some pressure this month. Are you long of it right now? Hey, Norris. Okay, we'll go over XLE. Hey, Anthony. How you doing, brother? So, Steve asked me to take a look at Bitcoin. We had gone over this a few days ago. I was a bit concerned about it. There was some reasons to be bullish longer term, but shorter term, a bit concerning. And it looks like we did a little bit of breaking here. This is a 15-minute chart. Let's go to a 4-hour, and now it's going to give me a problem. All right, there we go. All right. So here's the price action. I forget what stock or ETF I was looking at. I think it was UGAZ, where it broke support, and I was worried about a rally back and broken down. I was worried about this. Often happens frequently. You break support, people are still in denial. They try to bid it back up to try to recapture support, and then all of a sudden it just rolls over and fails. So that's what happened here, at least on a 4-hour chart. But this is obviously very short term. Steve, are you long of Bitcoin? Oh, you're starting to look at it. I just read your note. Okay, you're starting to look at it. All right, good. So I'm glad you're not long with it. So let's do what we typically do. Let's go from a very, very high level and do a deep dive into the monthly chart. And the thing to keep in mind with the monthly chart, obviously, is that the month isn't over. We still have a few trading days left to go. Anything can happen, especially with Bitcoin, right? It's very, very volatile. So uh, here's the optimistic part, and then I'll go to the pessimistic. The optimistic part is that we are at current holding historical support. It was support here, it was support here, here, and here we are again. It was resistance back here, here. A lot of history at the support level, a ton. So to the negative. To the negative, we have a breakdown of RSI below support. If we rally back a bit here off the lows of the week, we can correct this breakdown. So it's not all over and done yet. Stokes, coming under some pressure here. But again, as long as we don't close down below the support level at, let's see, the low 7,736 spots 96, I would write that number down, 7,736 spot 96. If we hold it, great. I think it's a buy from a monthly perspective. But if it breaks and closes down below that level, I would look to exit the trade. To the weekly chart, and this is the chart that I annotated the other day. And that's right. This is the one that had the inverted head and shoulders set up. So I was concerned about Stokes rolling over, and they've done that. We broke support. We're just shy of historical support. This is the line in the sand here. So I would be okay with buying, assuming that we close out the week above this support level here. I would be okay with buying a little bit of Bitcoin, not much. And then once we begin to rally up and through 9,000, to close above 9,000, I would be a little bit more, not a little bit, I'd be a lot more optimistic. And then if and when we do break out above this neckline on this inverted head and shoulders setup, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, then you can get more aggressive with your buying. Because that, in all probability, if you see Bitcoin ripping through that neckline, it probably means that there's Armageddon going on in the markets and you're having capital flight out of wherever the drama is. So it's probably going to be China. I would think it's probably going to be China. So weekly perspective, under some pressure, but we haven't broken the major support level. If we close down below 7,336.06, you need to avoid it because we're going lower. We could head all the way down. Our next support level after that would be 64.63 on Bitcoin. Daily chart. The good news here is that it stopped going down. Right? We rallied off the lows yesterday, and we didn't put in a new daily low today. So I'm not loving the daily chart. I still think that we could head lower here. I'm not sure if this volume is accurate. It's very, very low volume. And that's why. This chart here, this is new to stockcharts.com. This is currently tomorrow's data. So this is data the 22nd of November, this chart. So just keep in mind, I need to amend what I just said because I'm so used to this being the closing chart. This is not a closing chart. This price action right here is tomorrow. This is 22nd. So this is live price action right now. So we haven't taken out the lows of today for the 22nd yet. I don't see a reason right now to go buying Bitcoin. Yeah, I think we go lower. I think we're rallying off of an oversold condition. Look at how oversold we were. And so now what we're doing is we're rallying back. It's just a relief rally. And in all probability, we're going to break the support level and go lower on Bitcoin. So I wouldn't buy it right now. and I would defer to the weekly chart 7336.06. That's your price target in that neighborhood. And you'll probably get there. You could get there tomorrow. I mean, the low of the day today was 74.37, so it's quite possible. Anytime. You want me to go over that for you, Norris? CRZO? And we may have some guests that join us. Any guests that joined us? I invited a couple of email subscribers that open up my emails frequently, and I sent them out. It's not a whole bunch that I expect to join in, but I was just curious to see if anybody joined in that's not currently a member. I just did a test of that tonight. Okay. I won't go over it then. All right. So that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. You good with that, Steve? All right. Moving on to Norris is up with XLE. You want me to go over XLE or the chart I went over earlier of the energy sector? I can do either. I can do both. It doesn't matter to me. But I think you were referring to this chart here. Am I right there? Oh, you have XLE. Okay, we'll go over XLE. You got it. I'm a little bit caught up here. All right, we'll go with the monthly chart first. I'm going to just update this chart. It's been a while since I brought it up, so let's clean it up. You currently long. You're long of it now. What's your basis cost? If you don't mind me asking, if you don't want to tell me, that's fine. Okay. Um, okay, let's do this. So, okay. So, I have some good news here in that RSI, we have a breakout on RSI. It's one of those situations where you have an indicator leading price performance, and I love that. I really, really love that. Okay, so it's with me, it's rinse, wash, repeat. I kind of use the same system over and over again, and right now we're kind of in the middle of no man's land on a monthly chart. That could change if we drill down to a weekly or a daily chart. So from a monthly perspective, that 60,000 foot view of the battlefield, we're in no man's land. We're backing and filling, no real direction, consolidation, which is fine. The longer the consolidation, the greater the validation of the breakout. Now, RSI, again, going back here, we have broken out. Yeah, we haven't broken out on price. And RSI is generally a leading indicator. But many times what will happen here is that you'll get a pullback and a retest of this RSI. And on that rally off of the RSI, that's when you'll typically see the breakout on price. So I don't see a rush here to go adding more on a monthly basis. That could change. But on a monthly basis, I would step back. You saw a rejection of the attempt to break out this month. Up volume this month is very light. I'm liking the Stoke RSI. We have a breakout here. We have higher lows. So things are improving. Things are looking better. I don't have a weekly chart. Let's create a weekly chart. Let's get rid of the dollar overlay. Where is that? Okay. Ah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. So let's create support. Okay. All right. So what we have here is a setup in the making. I mean, it's looking very, very pretty in that we have two upper bands of resistance. We've had, and the reason why that happens is that we get false breakouts and we reverse to close lower. So that creates a secondary downtrend line in dotted blue line. And then, of course, you have your primary upper band of resistance. Now, the secondary lower band of support, we saw a breakout here the week of November the 4th. We rallied, we were rejected at the primary upper band of resistance. We've pulled back. What did we do this week? We retested the lower band of support. We reversed, and at current, we appear poised to be closing back above this secondary downtrend line. So it's looking good, assuming that we close where we close today or higher. If we get that, that sets the stage for a continuation move higher next week. So you're already long in the position. Would I go buying more based upon this? Probably not. If I didn't own any position, would I scratch the itch and buy some? Yeah, I might. And then I would look to get far more aggressive on a rally on a close above this upper band of resistance. So the weekly chart is looking good. We have higher lows and now higher highs on ultimate oscillator. How's our volume? Volume to the downside is light. The only caveat is that it's higher than the prior week, but a lot of it was buying, right? We were lower, we're reversing, we're very close to going positive on the week. Let's take a look at a daily chart. We had a breakout. Now, the only caveat here for me is, and you may have already guessed it, the Stokes. I don't like the Stokes. Okay. So simply based upon based upon the Stokes, we continue to lose momentum here, net. We did break out today. The question is, do we hold it or do we see a fade? And that's my concern. It could quite possibly be that we'll pull back, retest this breakout point, and then we proceed higher. But this is a threat to me, and all too often, you've been around long enough to know that, you see these Stokes, they're trading down below the 50 and 50 level and declining. It's a problem more often than not. So I'm cautious there. So what I would do here is I'll send you this link over. I would watch the weekly chart as you're currently long. And I wouldn't add more here until we got a resolution to these Stokes. That's how paranoid I am about Stokes declining like that. So that would be my game plan. Let the shares pull back. They probably will. And let there be a resolution to those Stokes, because that current, they're putting in lower highs and lower lows. That's a bit of a concern. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. Beautiful rally here off the lows. But we were under a lot of pressure here, selling pressure. You good? Okay. Okay, and you didn't want me to go over CRZO. Norris, did you have anything else? Anthony, or anybody out there want me to go over anything? Any questions, concerns? While I'm waiting, I will bring up, let's go over the Russell 2000 first, since we have a short position. So, okay, you guys got it. Yep, we'll go over, I'm definitely going to go over in UGT too. Patrick got you. Anthony, you got it. Okay, cool. All right. So IWM at current is trading down below support. We have the TZA trade on. But I'm still skeptical, despite the fact we're sitting with a profit on that trade right now. I'm still skeptical as to whether or not we're going to close out the week lower or at the lows or below support on IWM. Let's drill down. Stokes are weakening up here quite a bit. But on a daily chart, we're holding support just barely. So the question then becomes, when do we lean into our short position on the IWM? And I'm reluctant to, because I'm worried about the macro picture, and that's the election and the powers that be trying to keep this market in check. But we need to ask ourselves the question, what if this market breaks? And I would look to add more to the TZA trade, possibly if we close at the lows of the week on IWM, or if we put in a new weekly low next week on the IWM. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. I mean, we're really struggling to hold on to the support level here. They're fighting tooth and nail to keep it in check, and they're having their problems. Let's bring up the TZA. TZA looks good. So we'll see how the week pans out. I'm not going to go adding more to this trade. Not right now, despite the fact we're up on it. I'm just still a little bit nervous about shorting this market. All right, let's take a look at NUGT. All right. It's not setting up to be a great week at all. You could argue that we had a breakout week this week. I prefer not. I mean, we were kind of we were heavily oversold, especially after this down week back here, and due for a pop. So I'm not going to make that call and say that we've broken out here. I think that the more mature thing to do and conservative thing to do is to use a higher level of breakout standard. And that would be to use, again, just as we did with the prior trade, with the energy trade, is use an upper band, a primary band, and a secondary band of support, or resistance in this case, sorry, resistance. So here is the quote-unquote breakout above the secondary downtrend line. The one I really care about is this bar here, this upper band, the primary band. And honestly, even if we closed above that level, I still wouldn't add more. I would rather wait until we close back above that 3250 level. It haunts me. 3250. Yeah, Patrick. Me personally, yeah. And I'll be honest with you. I was looking today as we were selling off into the close to book profits on the 40s and then quite possibly sell the weeklies going out into next week. And I may do that tomorrow. I'll send out an alert if I do it. But I'm thinking the same thing. If we close out the week where we're at current or lower, then yeah, I'll probably close that out, book profits on the 40s, then roll out of that and sell the weeklies, probably up using the 30 strike, 29 strike, expiring next week. And the key to remember also is that we have an abbreviated week, which works great for us because less trading days in the week and very light volume to move the shares around. So that's what attracts me as well to selling weekly covered calls on NUGT. So more to come on that if I place that trade. So ideally, we rally up and through 3250. I have enough of a position right now. I don't need any more. I would rather wait for the breakout and just sell covered calls in the position I have right now. Could you open up a position on a rally up and through this upper band of resistance here? Sure. That's at around 28 bucks a share, but ideally, a 30 handle would be far more attractive to me because 28, 29 is proven to be resistance right now. Good. Thanks, Pat. Stokes are becoming very, very mature here. Very, very mature. So I'm confident that in the next couple of weeks, we're going to pop up here. But, you know, a lot of damage can be done with these Stokes still declining down below the 20 mark. You know, just as you saw back here, they still tanked. Just as you saw back here, still tanked. So we're not out of the woods yet. Close, but no cigar. Daily chart. All right, so here was our breakout here on a recapture of support, I should say. That's a better terminology. A recapture of support on the 18th, a failed breakout above the upper band of resistance, and today, reversal day. So no bueno. In all probability, we're going to pull back a little bit further here. And that'll give us the opportunity. In your case, Patrick, you're going to let your calls expire worthless. I'm going to close out the 40s and then roll down. Unless, of course, we spike up higher, which I don't think is going to happen on NUGT. Down in volume was light, but that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies either. Let's go to the intraday chart. Yeah, week close. So I would show patience here. I'm going to continue to sell covered calls, work that strategy, stay long, and I'm not going to look to buy more until ultimately we get what we want. What we want, not that it's good for the country, but what we want is a break of the US dollar. We want to see yields pull back even further. We want to see Fed bond buying of the 10-year, the 5-year, the longer duration bonds, and that'll send NUGT up higher. So more to come here. We have, what else? UVXY. That's the volatility, right? Ultra volatility. Yeah, okay. How many reverse splits has this thing seen? Norris, while you sell calls, I've been swing trading my core this week. Good for you. Congratulations. Nice. Love that. Cool. Selling calls. Don't be afraid of selling calls. Yeah. You know what? The biggest fear I have with selling calls is it's actually twofold. One is that it's very hard to stop out of a position when you're selling covered calls, because if you stop out of that position, then you're naked. So that's a concern. That's a fear. But that with me, that rarely happens because I'm pretty conservative. If I feel like we're going to get a breakout, I'll roll out and roll up to try to capture that upside appreciation. The other thing is if I don't recognize that we are going to see a rally and then we're stuck, like with, if I sold the 27 strike price on NUGT and then all of a sudden it closes out the week at 30, 31, you're like, damn, for that 30, 40-cent premium, I missed out on some upside potential, but it happens. Tesla, we'll go over it. Okay, so the UVXY monthly chart, obviously not looking good here. Heavily shorted. Weekly chart. Inside week. On volume, no less. So were you to buy these, for those not familiar, and everybody out there, you probably will experience, but just in case I have a couple of beginners out there, which we do, we have a pretty mixed membership. If you're buying the UVXY, it's a bet that the S&P 500 is breaking down. All right, so no new weekly low. This is really an unsustainable move lower here, but it is a volatility index, so we want to pay a lot of respect that it can go lower. RSI hooking up, Stokes beginning to hook up. But in the case like this, I always like to look back at past history and behaviors of Stokes and how do they behave. Normally, you see a lot of backing and filling, double bottoms, triple bottoms on Stokes. It's rare that you just U shape or V shape up, unless of course you're putting in higher lows like you did back here, and you're beginning to see some strength, which ultimately failed. You saw the same deal back here, but this even flashed double bottom setup. So this is just really the beginning stages of healing on Stokes. They're hooking up, but it means really nothing to me historically. Volume is very, very good. I'm not that familiar with, if it's an ultra, it's based upon derivatives. Then you have underlying time decay. I'll be honest with you, uh, I'm not all that knowledgeable on the formula of how the time decay works with the UVXY. I don't want to pretend that I am. Daily chart here. It's like a coiled spring, I'll tell you that. Here's our breakout, higher lows on Stokes. So, me personally, I wouldn't go buying it right now. It would become a trade if we rally and close above this upper band of resistance, but I would keep my position really small. Volume today was very light. Let's drill down further. Let's see if we have a trade here to be had in short term. We do. So actually, we don't. We don't. We've been rejected. I thought we were going to have a breakout here, and we don't. What we managed to do is just we managed to uh, recapture a or create a support level. Not really recapture support level. It was resistance. Now it is acting as support. Um, I'm not seeing a trade here at current. Not until we begin to break out. What would really be attractive is if we continue to trade sideways here and these Bollinger Bands created a very narrow channel from which to break out of. That would be a bullish event. And we could quite possibly begin breaking out on an intraday basis tomorrow, but that's not necessarily my style to go trading that. But with time decay, I can't really get back to levels and anything but the most recent path. That's just a way of putting it. Yeah, no, that's a fair take. That's a fair take. I like the way you put that. Steve, thank you for looking at Bitcoin. I was called away, but thankfully I backed it up. Oh, good. You were able to back it up. Cool. You're welcome. Patrick, I might test the waters on Monday for the UVXY or okay. So I would play it by a year. I see a good possibility that we could spike up higher here. I just wouldn't want to buy it until we establish some higher lows and higher highs, because I mean, what in the back of my mind, all I'm thinking about at current is this, this downward move. It's due for a pop, no doubt about it. It's due for a pop. If you're going to buy it, I would definitely use a stop. This would be considered a loose stop on a new daily, a weekly low below 1585. If you wanted to keep it very, very tight. Thought I saved that chart. Apparently not. 2-hour chart. A break below 1634. If you bought it tomorrow on a breakout, a break down below 1634, and I would be out. Those are my thoughts there. Okay, UVXY is done. Tesla. Let me just make sure I'm not missing one. EIEX. I'm going to go over Anthony's next because the comments are getting long. I don't want to miss one. So, Anthony, you're up next. Then we'll do Tesla. Edison International. Utilities. It's got a yield. You devil you. Looking for that yield, huh? Looking for a trade, or you buying it, looking to buy it for the yield? All right. I love the price action this month. Very, very good price action this month. Okay. Um, Sorry about this. All right. So I absolutely love the price action here. I mean, it was a horrible month last month, but we had yields that were rallying. That's not good for utilities. So the utilities pulled back. We're up over nearly 13% on the month on a utility, no less. Wow. Stochastics beginning to flatten out here. So the monthly chart looks very, very good. Just a couple of observations that I made were, and they probably mean nothing really, but worthy of just memorializing, just keep an eye on. Possible head and shoulders setup here on Stoch RSI and the Williams. Love the price action, assuming that we close there or higher. Let's go to a weekly chart. All right. So Here's where things get a little bit dicey. So, Anthony, are you currently long of these shares, or you're looking to buy them? What's your strategy here, so I can get my head wrapped around it? I'll throw up some lines while I'm waiting. Okay, so this had a brutal sell-off, and it caused it to become very, very oversold. I mean, we went down and we were tapping the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. Very, very oversold. So we have I don't want to call it a short covering rally. It probably wasn't heavily shorted. You had the shares, you no longer own them? XLU and XLP have been defying gravity defying valuations. XLP is up 24. Well, the reason is it's all about the yield. Yeah, it's all about the yield. These fund managers, they have to be invested, so they'll pay up. 65.30. All right, so good for you, Ant. All right, good. Okay. Aces. Cool. Okay. So you bought right. Um, is that TNA? Let me see that. Yeah, it's TNA, right? You would never know I had LASIK. Yeah, that's a small cap leverage ETF. I'll go over that. Um, so EIX, we're up above a resistance level, but we've come a long way, Anthony, from that bottom, especially for a utility. So I wouldn't go looking to add more. I would set a stop, probably right down below here. Preserve those profits. If we begin to trade down below 79.74 on a closing basis, at least you capture those profits. And watch tomorrow to see if we give up any room. If we pull back and hold, and this would be the ideal situation. If we pull back, just dance along this support level at around, let's call it $70 a share. That would be a good thing. And then you can add more in the next couple of weeks. Down, up volume is dropping off in terms of volume. That's a bit of a concern. Let's go to the daily chart. Yeah, you have resistance up here. So I love the yield. We're at resistance. So I wouldn't put profits here. I wouldn't add more though. I think you're probably going to settle into a trading range here, unless, of course, the 10-year yield takes a nosedive. Then you'll see these shares move up higher. So I would definitely watch the 10-year. But congrats on the trade. And I would hold it. I would hold it if the 10-year yield continues to drop off. If bonds begin to break down, then EIEX, and it's the reason why it sold off last month, right? So I would just watch the bond market. And if the bond market doesn't go our direction, then we got to change up strategy a little bit. All right, Tesla. If anything, right now Tesla is a speculative short. I couldn't go buying it here. It's the Zach Mail market from Officer and a Gentleman. Yeah, that's right. There's a line from the movie. Yeah, that's funny. Mayonnaise. Yeah, that was a good movie. Actually, that was the first movie that I took my wife to see. She had a crush on Richard Gere. Okay, so Tesla has some issues going on here. Um, let's stay consistent. We'll go to the monthly view first. Okay, so we have a monthly breakout. The chart on a monthly basis looks great. Looks like it can't go anywhere else but up. But I think you're going to get a pullback here fairly soon. Maybe not this month, but probably the first half of next month. And it'll be akin to, how if a stock has a very, very strong day, and then the next day it pulls back in the morning, but then by the afternoon it's rallied and made new daily highs. That's probably what you'll see here. As we enter December, we'll probably pull back and take the froth off of. I uploaded it to the wrong chart list. Okay. It'll take the froth off of the weekly chart, which is very, very extended here. Very extended. And you have a ton of resistance up here at around the 365 level. So I would be looking to short this thing at 365, 370. If it jumps, people are going to be leaning into this thing because it's very extended and it's nearing resistance. So guaranteed, you're going to have technical shorts out there selling into this and trying to take it down. Will they keep it down? Probably not, because the monthly chart is breaking out. It's looking really, really good. And you'll get a rally back in the back half of December. At some point, TNA. Oh, there's no other. Oh, that's what you. Is that an eye there? I'm telling you, I had LASIK, and this eye here, close up, it's very, very difficult to read things. I have to have my eyes rechecked. So I thought you had TINA in there, but it's actually, but I read it as TNA. Cyber struck tonight. What is that? I never heard of that before. What is that? That's great. I love that word. Okay, I'll wait for the reply on that because I'm interested. So Tesla, a bit extended here. I think you can get a pullback. Short term, a buying opportunity. Go look at the back half of December. Wrong chart. Yeah, you can see even on a daily chart here that the sellers already began to move in. Up volume is declining at resistance, and that's 361. They could spike it up higher here. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised, but you're probably going to see shorts lean into it up there. So I would avoid until where I would be interested in it is, let's go back to that monthly chart. Right at around the 330 level, and our close today was a 354.83, because that would be a retest of this breakout point. And so you know exactly where you want to put your stop loss, right below the breakout point, and you're out. So that's how I would play this trade. And if you want to do a speculative short on it, you could. But if you're long, you're looking to get long, I would look at that low 300 mark to get long. 330, 325, thereabouts. What else we got? Tesla new model. Okay. Any other symbols, guys? And gal? I know I have a couple of female members now, so I have to watch what I say. All right. If there's nothing else, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody, and everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining in and participating. It really makes it a blast when I engage with you. I'm so happy that I went to the live stream format. I look forward to doing these rather than sitting in front of the computer and then editing everything. It's just it killed my time. And to be able to have conversations like this is just outstanding. I really enjoyed the time with you guys. So thank you very much for joining with me and spending your time. And everybody have a great night. I'll talk to you tomorrow.